Nowadays, on various levels and for various reasons, more and more people are relying on magic to fix their lives. They are either coupling magic with their religious beliefs or abandoning their religion altogether and being involved with their magical and spiritual science of choice. But why? It would be my guess that magic gives a sense of independence, control, and power. We acquire knowledge, love, wealth, freedom. It heals, wards off, inflicts, reveals, and transforms. A well-known English occultist, ceremonial magician, and mountaineer believed that human beings, by nature, have the capacity to produce change in their environment. But does this always work, though? Why do it work sometimes? When it doesn't work, does it qualify as magic to be quote-unquote fake? This is today's topic. Magic. Does it work? Here is where I will put to rest some of the suspicions about why your work didn't work. Here on the MeMyddleton Show. Welcome to the MeMyddleton Show, a place to encourage neo-spiritualists to laugh, love, and learn, while we virtually walk through topics of the spiritual, magical, natural, and occultic world. I am your host, Evenah. You have now entered the MeMyddleton Show. So here's one reason why your work didn't work. Maybe you didn't follow instructions. It's kind of like baking, right? There are some ingredients you can substitute for, like flour. Some people cannot eat flour, so you use some other kind of ingredient, banana or some other substitution, and the product will still taste just the same or even better. And there are some ingredients where you have to follow the instructions to the letter. It really depends on what you're making. Same thing in magic. There are certain work that you could do that you can use substitutions for. Perfectly fine. And it'll come out just as good, if not even better. There are some that if you use substitutions, it might not come out as good. It might come out, but not to your expectations, or not to the level it could have been at. And in some instances, it doesn't work at all. Let's say there's a specific ingredient that you need to get for your particular work, and you ain't never heard of that before. Like, where do you get this type of ingredient from? Oh my God. If you receive the recipe from somebody and you don't know where to get this particular ingredient from, ask them. Maybe they can direct you in the right place. And you can also ask, well, if you can't get your hands on that particular product, can you substitute it? Now, what if it's something to where you cannot substitute it? What do? Either get that ingredient or abandon that recipe altogether and find a completely different recipe to use to get to the result that you're looking for. One or the other. Here's an example of a substitution I want to illustrate. A lot of us have never heard of alligator peppers. Most of us have ever only heard of cayenne pepper, black pepper, white pepper. That's about the extent. I know for me, I ain't never heard of no alligator peppers. You are not going to find the alligator peppers at Kroger or Walmart. I personally never seen it. There's this pod that sounds like, like a rattle, and inside are the alligator peppers. Unique to me. I never seen anything like it before, but it was very powerful for what I needed to use it for. And it worked out perfectly for what I needed to use it for. Had I used black pepper, would have came out just as well. Well, according to the person who I got the recipe from, don't think it would have came out as well, if at all. So, following instructions. I was taught that following instructions saves lives. Another one that deals with following instructions, you might have to go by, now not all traditions have to worry about this type of thing. You have to wait for a certain date or wait for a particular position of the stars and all of this here. That's very powerful. That's very wonderful. There's other traditions you ain't got to do all that. Just do the ritual and be through with it. If you're not fluent in that tradition and you are more familiar with utilizing heavenly bodies or the clock to get the results that you want, that's perfectly wonderful and perfectly fine. But follow instructions. You might have to wait for a Thursday or Friday to do money spells or a waxing moon for that, because that deals with attracting. You don't want to wait till a waning moon on a Tuesday to try to get some money. You could probably still get some money, but just how much more powerful it could be utilizing those dates whose energies deal with money, utilizing the energy of Jupiter, utilizing the waxing moon, certain days of the week like Thursday and Friday, using green candles, using herbs and spices that deals with money, using certain affirmations and wording things correctly in such a way that attracts money, not begging for it or commanding it. There's like certain things you have to follow and keep in consideration when utilizing certain ingredients and certain elements to utilize to perform your ritual to get the result that you're looking for. Another one, as far as following directions, you might not be performing under desirable conditions, meaning you might be too sick, too sleepy, or too busy. You don't want to schedule to work in between getting off of work and feeding the kids and running errands and just busy. You want to set off a significant period of time where there is total focus and concentration on doing your work. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be sleepy. You don't want to not feel good, like a headache or body ache, stomach ache. You don't want to have the flu or COVID-19. You don't want to be sick and then sit in front of your workstation talking about hocus pocus. No. If you're sick, your work going to be sick. And you don't want to use used tools. Like, I don't understand how logical it is to, and I've seen this done. It's strange for me, but I've seen this done where someone will start a work, get a candle, for example, program the candle for one type of work, charged it, and all of this here, lit the candle, and partway through the burning of it, put the candle out and forget about it. Candle still sitting there, months on end. Then you come back and you want to use that same said used candle for completely different work. That's strange. You done programmed this candle and lit it and put fire to it and everything, stamped on it. It's weird to try to use that candle. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why does that make sense? Don't do that. But there's people out there that try to use it and then talking about it didn't work. Another one is coming before your work unclean. And I mean a dirty, funky, smelly body, hands dirty and all of this, hair dirty and all of this here. Going and doing your work in a dirty body. Cleanliness is next to godliness. And if you're trying to work with spirit, you going before utilizing your own particular spirit, it's not going to be as powerful being dirty. And I know a lot of us sisters are going to get mad at this one here. I get it. I understand it, being a woman. The term unclean, we get real offensive by it. But being on our cycle before work, if you are working with another woman and she's on her cycle, would you touch it? Ew, I wouldn't. I'm not finna touch another woman's bloody tissue falling out of a hole. There's nothing clean about it. Yes, it's a powerful tool for certain work. But for most work, no, don't do that. Just don't be upset about it. Don't get mad about it. Don't get in your feelings about it and try to prove it wrong and then something blow up in your face because you are in your feelings and reacting versus proacting. Yes, our menstrual cycles are very powerful energy, especially if it's coming out of us. But that is bloody tissue falling out of a hole. It's not clean. It's okay. We're going to relax and breathe about it. But most paths and most traditions, that is considered being unclean. We ain't saying you just nasty or saying anything mean or negative about you personally. Don't take it personally. But, the spirits that's going to work for you, I'm not going to accept that. They're not going to deal with that. Some of them might even feed off of that, vampirically, and might not be in your favor doing that. Just don't. Another reason why your work didn't work might be because it's the illusion of it's not working. That it's working, you're just impatient. Maybe there are things happening in the ethers behind the scenes, and you're expecting something to happen overnight or within a week, especially if that's something that you're expecting to happen in a short period of time is actually from a big order. So I want to use an example of wanting $250,000 in a day. Not going to happen. That's a big order that you're asking for. And not just going to drop $250,000 in your lap, especially if you're not disciplined enough. Some people can't handle $50, let alone $100, let alone $250,000. So you're going to be tested. There'll be steps that you're going to have to take in order to reach that $250,000 mindset. Is your mind in the right space to have this money? They want to see if that you can handle this type of money. Now, are you disciplined enough to focus, work, or earn that type of money? Or do you need to go to quote-unquote school? Maybe you need to go to a traditional school or college, university, or take up courses. Are you open enough to have a mentor or a life coach that could teach you about money? I know in my day, they didn't teach us about finances in school and middle school and high school. They didn't teach us. They taught us how to count, but not how to balance a checkbook or, how to invest. Now we get into the real world, and a lot of us are completely ignorant about the world of finance. So are you open enough to learn? Or will you be able to receive the information and the teachings or your schooling from your particular mentor or coach? Do you need to work in an environment to teach you what you need? You might be in a toxic environment. You need to get off from around that particular environment so that you can be around like-minded people about getting this money. What other developmental things that you need to get that kind of money? And how long will it take for you to get that kind of money? If it differs for everyone, you can get it within a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years. Depends completely on you. Another reason why you think it's not working but it's working behind the scenes is that you might be sabotaging the work in progress. The work may require you to sit still for a period of time, but you move prematurely, right? There might be certain steps and it's a playbook that is now being developed for you specifically, and when to move and when not to move, when to say something, when not to say something, and what specific to say. And you might move prematurely because you're impatient and you can sabotage yourself. And then go around talking about, oh, this didn't work. Well, you didn't let it work. You sabotaged yourself. So another example of why your work didn't work, that it's actually another example of it's working, or it actually worked. You just didn't recognize it. The most popular example are like love spells. So you asking for a particular mate, they actually arrived, but you reject them and still asking for a mate. That's a popular one where the person is right there in front of you, the one that was made specifically for you, But it might be a certain characteristic on them that you just didn't like, but you didn't give this person a try. And you reject them and still begging for a mate. Silliest thing I've seen, but it has happened. Or you're asking for money, right? But the money that you're looking for is, for example, you want to go to Paris. I need to go to Paris. But instead of thinking about the actual trip of going to Paris, you're thinking about getting the money to go to Paris. But then you're gifted a plane ticket to go to Paris. Certainly it worked because that's what you needed it for. It might not come in a way what you're looking for, but it actually worked. It just came in different ways. So here's another one why your work didn't work. Let's say you know within your heart, man, me trying to do this field work is not going to work. Let me hire somebody who's supposed to be an expert and know what they're doing, or say they know what they're doing and they can create what I'm asking for me. That's perfectly fine. But you get a mystic that you hire to do the work for you that cannot create the change in your life because their life is just as effed up, if not worse, than yours. Remember earlier we was talking about not going before work and being tired or sick or some other kind of undesirable situation. And your work is not working. Well, it's the same thing if another person who's in an undesirable situation trying to do the work for you. It's like getting your hair done. You have beauticians all over the world who can do hair, maybe not. But for those who can do hair, they might could do hair on you specifically and make you slay, like it fits your face and everything. And there's other people who can do hair just fine, but it don't fit your face. Was it built or made for you? It's like having a big money spill from a bum or a displaced person or someone making under $18,000 a year and barely making ends meet with one paycheck away from homelessness, but you're asking for a big money spill from that person. They can't create the life that you're asking for themselves. Or that person might be brand new to the mystic scene with no real verifiable results. Like they haven't built up their ashe, they haven't built up their energy or their magical muscle. But you're going to them and asking them for big results, for a big job. And they haven't even built up enough muscle for their own self. Probably why that spell didn't work. Oh, here's another reason why your work didn't work. And when it comes to hiring another mystic to do the work for you, the mystic you hired to do the work was a charlatan. They don't have any ashe, and if they did have any ashe or energy, it wasn't for you, it was for them. They charmed you or tricked you out your money, and they making money. Or they're getting whatever they can out of you, and they're getting whatever it is they want in their life and leaving you in a hole. You know, there's someone that's in what we call the spiritual hustle game, and you fell victim to it. Or you might be going to someone who just may be a real practitioner, came to you in your email, DM, messenger, etc., advertising that they can help you. You got a curse over you, or there's a danger is nearing you, or you are destined for greatness, but you must act fast or else type of situation. Charlatans, still nonetheless, tricking you up out your money, making you believe whatever it is that's spewing out of their mouth, and you give them all this money, and nothing is coming to fruition. But you don't see any real changes in your life, but they ran off with your money. That's why it didn't work. Here's another one. Asking for the wrong thing and it's not meant for you. Some wrong moves are more detrimental than others. For example, you're trying to become rich and famous, but your life path really is not really built for that. The contract that you agreed to when you came to this world is supposed to be on something else. You're supposed to be a healer or a nurse or someone to help the people in a personal way. And you want to be a famous entertainer. well, that journey might take you down some dark path or take you down an undesirable path, and you're thinking, oh, it's just what everybody got to go through in order to make it to this life. And next thing you know, you get shot up or you're in jail or something undesirable happens or leave you homeless or disregarded. All these other undesirable things that could possibly happen, but you're asking for these particular works to happen. It was working at first, but then it went left. It wasn't for you. You weren't supposed to be doing this. Trying to find joy in doing something that's not supposed to be doing. And not giving a try what you're meant to do or meant to be here for. You might be a person that enjoys creating music. I know myself, playing various instruments and things of that nature, going in the studio, making various tracks or making musical arrangements, writing scores. I love music. I love creating that. I get such a thrill out of that. But my purpose, what I'm supposed to be here for, I never thought I would have this joy of spiritual teaching. Far from being a musician, far from that spectrum. But that's what I was sent here to do. I got tired of trying to make it in something that I wasn't supposed to be in. And when I found out what I'm here for, I rejected it. I ran from it for a while. I'm not supposed to be doing that. I don't want to do this spiritual work. No. Just fussing about or fighting against or pouting about not wanting to do something I've been sent here to do. But then I actually gave it a try and I found so much joy. And I'm sure there's more things to come for me that will open up big doors that I couldn't possibly fathom. That will give me the sense of accomplishment. That will give me a sense of I've done my job here. And the greatest thing that I can ever do in my personal life. Give it a shot. You might be here for one reason, but you just really aiming at another reason. Give your purpose a shot. You might fall in love with it. One of the last things I want to touch on the various reasons why your work didn't work is that you didn't have a big enough why. What I mean by a big enough why, what is your reason for wanting whatever it is that you want? Are you just playing around, just want to try it and see if it'll work? Is your reason for wanting whatever it is that you desire big enough? Are you willing to put in the work to get it? It's one thing to do work, magical work, for your request, and it's another to do the work behind it that will get you to your request. Like, I want to go back to the $250,000 example. You know, you might need the $250,000 for a particular goal. But are you really vibrating to that energy of $250,000-ism? You might still be in a mindset that's of poverty, that you don't really deserve it. There might be some remnants of negative thinking of not deserving that $250,000. Your why ain't big enough. You might have all the reasons in the world of why you need this $250,000, but there's resistance. You need to be in a space to where you know that you have the audacity, as one of my teachers would say, have the audacity to believe that you deserve that or know that you deserve that. Like, there is not an ounce, a gram of doubt that you will put in the work. You did the ritual work behind it to get the money. Now you have a journey laid out. The Spirit's laid out this journey for you to go down and follow instructions. When to move, when not to move, when to speak, when not to speak, when to go left, when to go right, when to keep straight, stop, hold up. And you're willing to do and follow the instructions to the letter. And you keep yourself in prayer. You keep yourself in balance. And you fight really hard and knowing that you deserve that you're going to attain this goal. And there's nothing that's going to stop you, regardless of whatever obstacles you're finna get this money. That sounds pretty big. For us as the next person, they have some levels of doubt. Vibrate to that energy of whatever it is that you desire. If you believe that you deserve to be loved and have somebody to love on you, to have a partnership with someone that you can grow old with, make sure you love yourself first before you go out and try to have somebody love you more than you love yourself. Or whatever it is that you desire, make sure that your why is big enough and that you vibrate high enough to get to that point. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest expert on vibrating to certain things, but there are other things. Can't nobody tell me nothing different than what I feel, because I have the audacity to believe that I deserve whatever it is that I'm asking for, that I'm supposed to have. I want you to have that same mindset. Did you enjoy? Ooh, I hope you did. Did you learn anything? I hope you gained a great wealth of information. Did this episode leave you with questions? I hope you got plenty of those too. Send your questions to MeMyddleton@gmail.com. You never know, your question just might be the next topic on the MeMyddleton Show. What would you like to see on the MeMyddleton Show? Do you have any suggestions? Send them over to MeMyddleton@gmail.com and I'll be super happy to read your suggestions. If you're listening in on Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform, please leave a comment. If you're listening in on YouTube, leave a comment, click on the like button, click subscribe, and click on the notification bell to be notified of all uploaded videos. Check out my website at www.helpbyevenah.com. That's HelpByevenah.com. View merchandise, get a consultation, and listen to all episodes of the MeMyddleton Show. And remember, proper prior planning practically promotes persistent productivity and proud, pristine performances. Now, go practice your craft and perform. Until next time.